You to go. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Start the bidding for these tape recorders now.
Part two of this press conference for Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest, and I'd like to welcome producer Jerry Bruckheimer and Captain Jack himself, Johnny Depp. I do feel, actually, that we should say a little word about Gore. You two had a bird's eye view of him undertaking this mammoth task, and I just wonder, how did he cope with it?
First of all, he apologizes for not being here because he is preparing to finish the third Pirates. So he starts filming in August, and he's getting ready, prepping for the next one. So when Johnny arrives, he'll be ready for him and the rest of the cast. But as far as Gore, I mean, he loves making movies, and he loves the fact that he has these wonderful actors to work with and terrific writers. And it's a real collaboration between all of them, and it's like a family. The writers were on the set the entire time, working with Johnny, Orlando, and Kira and the rest of the cast, and they had a ball. And that's why everybody's back, because it's a good working environment, great experience for everybody, and it's a very creative experience. So I think, Johnny, you can add to that.
Yeah. With Gore, especially, I'm a little shocked that he's able to stay upright at this point. His commitment to the film, his commitment is a large one. 3 years, he's locked in. His kids have almost thrown him out of the house, and otherwise he'd be here probably. But yeah, it is a very collaborative and fun movie to make. I'm surprised they pay me for it, actually.
Don't say that in front of Disney, please.
Yeah.
Always a good thing. We're going to go to Anwar to start the ball rolling, please.
I'm sure Jerry, with his track record, had every confidence that the first film would be the hit it was. But Johnny, with your characterization of Captain Jack Sparrow going so far out there, did you think it would be a huge hit or just a rarefied sort of success?
I had gotten used to the idea of never having a successful film myself. I was pretty comfy in that. So yeah, it was a terrific shock for me. I'm still sort of babbling about it.
Because the way you play the character, you don't seem to make any concessions. That's the joy of it. It's a wild and crazy guy that audiences have obviously hooked onto. But is that part of it a surprise as well? That he is so much loved.
That's an enormous surprise as well. I mean, the fact that people took the character in, and really sort of supported me when, at a certain point, as Jerry knows as well as I do, some of the better dressed people at Disney were having a difficult time, and with my interpretation of the character. So I mean, the fact that audiences came in and supported me was a win-win situation for me.
We're going to go to Tony, who's in the blue shirt, a few rows back on the left.
Johnny, Orlando and Kira were both saying they found it difficult to keep a straight face when they were reacting opposite your characterization as Captain Jack.
They should be on this side of me.
How did you cope with working with Bill Nye? Because he was doing the same thing to you. So the two of you were almost a mirror image. How was that?
Well, Bill is one of my, I'll just say it. Well, he's one of my all-time heroes, Bill Nye. I just think he's one of the finest actors that have ever done anything. He's just miraculous to watch. Bill, I probably would have fallen over laughing had he been, all tentacled out. But the fact is, he was doing his work in a kind of glorified prison suit. I mean, it was this sort of gray and black kind of, it was fetching, but it was strange, gray and black thing with little tennis balls all over it or ping pong balls all over it. So just that alone, was kind of fascinating to look at. It was probably that kept me from giggling all the time with Bill.
You had a lot of Brits on this, Jerry. I mean, it is a largely British cast, isn't it?
Yes.
Intentionally so? I mean,
You know, I think that, Gore was looking for, wonderful character and character actors, and I think in America, unfortunately, our great character actors, a lot of them are chewed up on television, and you see them every week sometimes on some of our shows. But the British actors who are wonderful are not chewed up on American television, which is great, and they're really fresh to American audiences and worldwide audiences. So I think that's what gravitated him towards some brilliant British actors.
we're going to go to the guy with the white shirt, midweight left there with his hand up.
Hi. Who do you think would win in a battle between Captain Jack Sparrow and Peter Pan, and which side would you take?
Go on, Jerry.
Well, I have to go with Jack Sparrow. Come on, he's the greatest.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Who do you think would win in a battle between Jack Sparrow and Peter Pan, and which side would you take?
Jack Sparrow, because he doesn't wear tights, first. Yeah, and he's a bit more worldly, isn't he?
Which character do you identify with more?
Unfortunately, Jack Sparrow.
We're going to go to the guy with the checked shirt just there.
Hi, Johnny. GTV Belgium, my name's Ben. We all know that you based your character on Keith Richards, but I was wondering, who came up with the idiosyncratic walk? Does Keith Richards actually walk like that, or who came up with that?
What are you saying? The war, I suppose Jack's body language, in fact, came from extreme heat, actually. I went in the sauna. I locked myself in a sauna for a long period of time. By the way, I don't recommend that to anyone. No one should do that. Because I thought at the time, out on this open seas for long periods of time, they would be sort of obviously subjected to the elements, And so what happens when you lock yourself in a very, very hot place, you start to, it starts to affect the way you move, and you get very, very uncomfortable, and that's sort of how Jack's movement was born.
I'll have to try that myself.
As I said, I wouldn't recommend it. So I'll go on record with that.
We're going to find the microphone, which I think is back right somewhere.
Hi, yeah, it's a question for Johnny about the Rogues Gallery album, and I haven't seen the track listing, but I wondered why, if he did a song, and if not, why not? And also, if the Good Doctor was alive, do you think he would have contributed to the album?
Oh, yeah. I believe if Hunter were still around, at least, yeah, he would absolutely have contributed to the album. He would have had a ball with that record. The Rogues Gallery record was a thing. Gore and I, it was probably a little more than a year ago now, we started talking about the idea of kind of shanties, yeah, just kind of centuries-old sea songs that, was one of those things that started out, wouldn't it be great to hear such and such do this and do that, and then Hal Wilner came on board and just knocked it out of the park. We were both kind of stunned by what he'd done. I'm really pleased with it. I'm really proud of it. It's an amazing record.
I'm going to go to the chap in the front row here.
Yes, it seems like there's a lot of slapstick in this movie, but there's also very funny dialogue. For instance, the dialogue with the natives. Is that written in the script, or do you just swing it?
It's a little both. It wasn't really written in the script, but we had worked out the idea of a language, and then we took it and perverted it. Just dirtied it up.
We're going to go to Andy, please.
Sorry, Johnny, when you're playing, excuse me, biscuits. When you're playing a character over two movies, I wonder, and there are scenes from both at the same time. How do you sort of pitch the development of the character in terms of the performance?
I kind of reckon he's fully developed. I mean, I feel like, that he is he's arrived, and had arrived on the first one, so there was no, I don't know, that whole idea of, you know, the arc of the character and stuff like that. Bollocks. You know, the guy is, and he just sort of moves forward. That's basically it.
And if it is all sort of top notch, do you think those better dressed people at Disney greeted the rushes of this film with some relief that you weren't going any further than you had last time round?
Well, they haven't seen 3 yet. It's a strange thing. Gore and I were talking about a couple of weeks ago. If you're not making them really nervous, you feel like you're not doing your job fully. So, yeah, 3 should be interesting.
We're going to go to the lady on the left there.
Question from a boy who's 8 years old. When you were a kid, did you want to become a pilot? And if
Oh, yeah.
what did you want to become?
No, I can very clearly remember wanting to be a pilot when I was a kid, absolutely. And I think, I mean, it feels like that it still exists for a lot of people. And I think it must have something to do with the idea of freedom, total freedom, and everybody wants to be that free. Everybody would love to be totally irreverent and not have to answer to anyone, you know. Like Jerry. He's absolutely free.
The mic, wherever that may be, right back on the left.
2 questions for Johnny. Johnny, the first one is, will you get a woman in series 3?
I'm sorry?
Will you get a woman on your side in the 3rd part, is question 1. And the other one is, you compare yourself, or Jack Sparrow is always the winner compared to Peter Pan and others. How does he compare to Johnny Depp himself?
Well, I don't know how to answer that exactly, because he's me and I'm him, so in terms of comparison, he's a character that was sort of born out of me. Though I don't trust him at all. And the first part was something about Peter Pan, I'm sorry.
Woman on your side? A love affair in series 3?
A love affair? A love affair with Peter Pan. I think that's Pirates 4. I don't know. Pirates 3, there's really no...
Well, there's further adventures of the 3 characters.
There's a love affair with Orlando.
Jerry, are you thinking beyond 3? Are you already?
Yes, we are. We're hoping to continue the series of films. Audiences seem to love it, and we love making it. So hopefully we'll get the same team back together again and make another one.
Because it's not easy, I would have thought, getting these guys back together with the sort of cast you've got now.
Well, I think it's all about the work. And, if they like the work that they do, then I think they'll be back. And I think everybody seems to enjoy the second one as much as the first one. So hopefully we'll have everybody back and have some fun again.
Thank you. Going to go to the guy with the red T-shirt on in the second row there.
Yeah, 2 questions for Mr. Depp. First of all, do you plan your career at all in the coming years? Will you keep on playing the same kind of parts in the same kind of films that you've done in the recent years? And the second question would be, how would you like to work with Stellan Skarsgård?
In terms of, I don't know, making other movies and what I'll do, I don't really know, certainly if Jerry keeps giving me jobs, I'll, be doing other films.
I don't think he has to worry. He gets offered just about everything.
I'll keep going in whatever direction I end up going. I don't really know yet, but working with Stellan Skarsgård was a real honor. That he's just someone I've admired for a long time, and he was not a letdown, especially as a guy, just sort of hanging out with him. He's not only a terrific actor, but just a really sweet, very down-to-earth guy. So no, I was really honored to spend time with him.
Going to go to the lady here on the fourth row.
Two questions, both of you. First for Jerry, how did you think of using the East India Company as a template for all this? And for Johnny, do you really identify with the kind of characters of Victoria as fighting for the rights of the little guy against the transnational economic empire that is symbolized by the East India Company?
Well, the first part about East India, it's really our writers, Elliot and Rossio, came up with the idea, and I think it sort of mirrors what's happening in countries, especially in America, where you have these enormous chains that kind of put everybody out of business. They take all the independent operators and swallow them up. So I think that's kind of what they were looking to do.
And myself, do I believe in the...
Yeah, do you identify what kind of character they are supposed to be in this? You know, you're fighting for the rights of the little guy against the transnational...
Oh, absolutely. No, I've always been a big supporter of the underdog, having been an underdog for a very, very long time. No, absolutely. I do believe in the, you know, as you say, the little guy, or I think there is a great shame and a kind of global homogenization, you know, of artisans are unfortunately starting to evaporate because big businesses come in and taken all even the possibility of individualism out, and that's a great shame. And yeah, so of course, you know, I think it's our responsibility to fight against that.
We're going to go to the microphone right at the back
I'll
on the
just
left.
put my mouse ears on now.
It's a question for Johnny Depp from Norwegian Radio. I'm here.
Where is he?
Johnny, did you have to be, were you clear in your mind all the time that you wanted to do more than one film, or did you have to be convinced in the process, or did you have to be convinced to do a fourth and fifth and sixth? How long will you be in?
You know, I mean, as long as there's a good script there, I think you're okay in any scenario. I mean, as long as the story's there, as long as all the elements are there, why not? I'd be happy to keep going. I just very selfishly enjoy playing the character. I just really love playing the guy, purely because it's fun. Nothing more, you know. It's not like, you know, there's an evil moment where you go back in the back room and start, you know, counting money. It's never been about that for me. It's of course still isn't that. I just purely enjoy playing the character. So if these guys wanted to continue on this same ride, if everything was in the right place and the script, you know, the story was good, yeah, I'd stay on the ride for sure.
So you never had second thoughts if you really wanted to do more than one Pirates of the Caribbean?
Oh no, it felt totally normal to me. The idea of a sequel. In fact, I was looking forward to it just to be able to, you know, put the gear back on and become Captain Jack again. You know.
The second lady in the second row there, please.
I would like to know, what do you think when you see kids wearing pirate dress or a Captain Sparrow dress? What do you think about that? And I don't know if you are planning to go to another countries to promote the movie, maybe Mexico or something like that.
I don't know. They just sort of wind me up and push me in whatever direction I'm going. It's obviously, I mean, you know, very touching when you see a kid, you know, dressed up as your character. Because I mean, a couple of years ago, the character wasn't, you know, didn't exist, and so to see some little kid, you know, that kind of affected by something you've done is, yeah, moving. But at the same time, it was never, you know, I mean, though I think it's probably not a good idea, I could have seen, you know, the idea of kids dressing up as Ed Wood or Raoul Duke.
That would have been something. The lady on the left there in the polka dot dress.
Where would you like to see yourself in 10 years' time?
Hanging out with my kids, you know, somewhere where phones don't ring, and there's a lot of sun, and yeah, I think that'd be fine.
We're going to find a mic where I think it's on the
Okay.
right-hand side at the back.
Hi, 2 questions for Johnny. The first is, how does it feel to be a part of such a unique character? I mean, if you don't mind the comparison, it's kind of like, Harrison Ford's Indiana Jones, a kind of a character that could run and run forever, for as long as you wanted to keep making movies. The second is, how do you feel about Keith Richards playing your dad and finally being part of the movie?
Second. Keith, you know, that hopefully, you know, I mean, we're all looking forward to the idea of Keith coming in and doing a cameo, and it's looking very, very good. The one thing is you just never say it's definite until, I mean, for me, until the guy walks, you know, steps on set, and the camera's rolling. So, but, you know, it's certainly something I'm very excited about. You?
Yeah.
You? And the first part was something?
The first was, how does it feel to, really have
Where
created...
are you?
I'm here.
Yeah. Where?
Hi. Here. How does it feel...
I got scared.
I'm just a voice. No, how does it feel to have created a character that is truly unique, that can kind of, run and run for as long as you want him to?
How does it feel? Well, I mean, certainly, you know, the Ted and Terry had written this character, and I know that they were coming in from a slightly different angle than I took with the character, but it feels very good to have taken part in the construction of this guy, you know, this entity that is Jack Sparrow. It was great fun, and it was great fun being in trouble for having, you know, created him. It was really. It felt good to have the suits come down on me, you know, in a lot of ways, because it worked, you know, even at that early stage, you know, when we were a month or so into shooting, and they were really nervous. Then I felt like we must have reached some point here. I feel like I've accomplished something because it affected them to that degree. So, and I believed in him. So it felt very good then, and yeah, it still feels good. It's very satisfying.
We're going to go to the lady midway on the left there. Yeah.
Hi, Tara from Ireland's Channel 6 and Dublin's FM 104. Hi, Johnny. When you took on the role, I read it was a lot to do with your own kids. You wanted to do something they could enjoy. So, what's their reaction? Are they enjoying it? And when you play with them, which roles from the movie do they take on?
I told you to turn them off.
Here's my big dance number. My kids have been, yeah, they have had a lot to do with it, and they haven't seen Pirates 2 yet. I figured the responsible thing to do was to check it out first before they watched it, and I'd come to the conclusion that they'll be okay seeing it. The funny thing is, with my kids, when we sit down to sort of, you play Barbies or whatever, as we all do. I mean, we can freely admit that we play Barbies, can't we? But when I sit down to play Barbies anyway, I can remember sort of starting to assume characters, you know, and it's a great way for, you know, as an actor to sort of experiment, you know, with voices and things, you know, and I'd sort of start to assume a character with the Barbie, and my daughter would just sort of go, Papa, could you just, just do your regular voice, you know? And there was only one time when she was taken aback was when I was trying to find the voice of Willy Wonka. And she stopped me and said, "What's that? You know, who's that?"
She liked him.
Sorry?
She liked him.
She did, you know, or at least she, you know, I don't think she was lying. But she seemed to like him. Yeah, no, she said, "What was that?" And I said, "Oh, that's, I think that might be Willy Wonka." And she said, "Oh, I like that, you know."
Going to go to the fourth row here, chap in the blue shirt.
Question for Jerry. Can you talk a little bit about deja vu and also about how the hurricane affected the shoot?
Sure. Deja Vu we just finished filming about 3 weeks ago. It's with Denzel Washington and Tony Scott, who we did a number of movies with. It's a crime procedural with a major love story. It's a unique, interesting, different, fresh approach to that genre. So we're excited about that. It'll most likely be here in December, in the States in November. And your second question was? Oh yeah, we had a number of storms, unfortunately, that kind of slowed us down. Wilma came in and gave us a big wallop and damaged some of our ships and the tank we were shooting in. But somehow we got the movie finished and we're here to show it to you. So it's all done and we're very proud of it.
Going to go to the lady at the front there in a green dress who's been waiting patiently for ages.
Johnny, you said where you'd like to be in 10 years. So I would like to ask you, how have you changed in 10 years now since the party years? And people who know you say that you're quite level-headed and you have feet on the ground. So do you think that's true? And why is that?
Where do I begin?
How have you changed in 10 years?
Well, certainly, I mean, a huge change for me was obviously having kids, I mean, yeah, becoming a father. But more than changing, I don't feel like I mean, it's hard for me to say, I mean, how I've changed, but I think more than changing, I feel like I've been revealed to myself, I've kind of find out who I was, that first moment, when you meet your child for the first time and you're looking at this angel, you start realizing what an idiot you've been for so many years and how much time you've wasted, And as far as being level-headed or feet on the ground, once again, my kids and Vanessa, my family have given me proper foundation, a sense of home that I never had in my life, a real sense of home and family and place to be.
Going to go to the lady in the pretty blue top there in the third row.
I have a question for John Depp. What's the biggest difference between working with Tim Burton and Lasse Hallström?
What's the difference between working with Tim Burton and Lasse Hallström? Lasse's Swedish, and Tim's from Burbank. I mean, just very different filmmakers, those guys. But I mean, you could. It's not. I mean, the idea of having them in a room together is not that bizarre. They're coming from the same place, essentially. I mean, as filmmakers, but just with a very different approach. Tim's, obviously got that signature Tim Burton. There's that sort of thing, those ideas that live inside of Tim, those dark, kind of funny things. And Lasse's a very, Lasse's a very, I guess they're both sort of hypersensitive guys. I don't know how to compare them, but why would we? Really the question.
We're going to go right to the back on the right where the mic may be.
I'd like to ask both gentlemen a question I asked our previous guests. I mean, there are nods in this movie to classics like The Princess Bride, Highlander in tone. I just wonder what it is about the sword movie and the swashbuckling idea that never goes out of fashion. Every few years, there's a classic that comes along that takes us back to that very basic form of action entertainment.
I kind of think that, first of all, pirate movies have been dead for a long time. I mean, you know, it's been 40 years, I think, since a pirate movie, or even longer, came out that was a success. And so, you know, it was based on, this one became such a huge success because first it started with Ted and Terry, who created this kind of wonderful fantasy about pirates who turn into skeletons in the moonlight and have to return the treasure rather than steal a treasure, a unique premise that we haven't seen before. That's where it all starts, and then you populate that with a wonderful director and amazing actors, and that's how you get, you know, movies that work. And the swashbuckling thing is just part of the action and adventure. But if you don't fall in love with the characters, we really haven't done our job, or the story and the plot. That's what's really important.
Orlando was saying that he was going to have it written into his contract that he has to have a sword fight in every film, and that it can't be cut out of the film.
We've got time for just one more, I'm afraid, and it falls to the chap on the left there. The chap. Notice I said that. Right.
This is, I believe, actually, looking at your kind of biography, it's the first time, you know, outside of episodic television, you've actually played in a sequel. So I was just wondering how you found that, and whether there were any characters that you played that you perhaps like to revisit and haven't had the opportunity to.
I mean, again, like I said before, you know, the opportunity to play Jack Sparrow was, once again, was a real gift. I mean, I welcomed it, you know, I felt like I wasn't, at the end of the first one, I felt like I wasn't done, you know, I felt like there was more to be done. There's more possibilities, more areas to explore. I mean, years and years ago, I was always sort of, I always thought that a sequel to Edward Scissorhands would have been a good idea. I really, again, like that character, I felt like we hadn't explored all the possibilities. There was more to do. Obviously, 20th Century Fox felt differently. And I think it might have had something to do with money. Not sure. Absolutely. Every time out of the gate when you get to spend time with these guys, with these characters, you know, there's always that certain point arrives when the clock starts ticking, and you know you're gonna have to say goodbye. And though it sounds horribly silly for a middle-aged man to admit, I do. I mean, you go through a kind of bizarre decompression, you know, where you miss these guys, you know, because you know you're never going to see them again in sort of that capacity. I mean, you won't look at them again. They may rear their ugly heads with me every now and again, you know, when I go into one of my Barbie Jags, but you don't get to play them again. So yeah, I mean, you do miss them. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to saying goodbye to Jack Sparrow. Hint, hint.
Hopefully that won't be for a long, long time. I'm afraid that's it, sadly. I'd like to thank both these guys for giving us so much time. It really has been a pleasure. Thanks, Johnny. Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you. Well done.
No, I went into Keith at the airport. Oh, this whole family.
You're kidding? No. Really? Unbelievable.
Yeah, he was on a flight, earlier flight.
Oh, wow.
Okay, all right.
Stealing someone's pen. Yeah, notorious pen thief. writes the thing. Turns to the script. Not necessarily. No. No, I mean, we've all sort of seen the idea of guy getting girl and girl getting guy and all that stuff. I think we've seen that a lot. Go in other arenas. I thought it was the interesting thing about it was slightly odd for Captain Jack to end up with Elizabeth in that way.
People, we gotta go. I do apologise. We've got some other stuff to do.
Whose pen have I stolen? Whose pen have I stolen? Yours.
We gotta go, people. I'm terribly sorry.
Alrighty.
Thank you very much.
Take care, guys.
Thanks
Thank
a
you.
lot. Thank you.